called Jimmy. And I really want to thank God for allowing us to be here. You know, I always like to acknowledge God, you know, from where he brought me from. You know, I want to thank the Trenton Area Convention Committee, you know, for inviting me. And they called me a couple months ago and they said I was sharing here, and I said, what's the topic? They say forgiveness. I'm like, wonder why. But, you know, I also want to thank the people that have helped me so much along the way. You know, thank my sponsor. You know, I just been touched since last night. I don't go to a lot of movies. And my wife wanted to go to this movie, and I don't want to promote it, but it was like The Diary of a Mad Black Woman. And I was telling him, right, and he say, that'll help you see your self-centeredness. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, I thought about it for a moment. And we went, and I was like identifying with it, and it touched me, and I got another spirit of trying to understand rather than being understood. The 8th step is not easy. It demands a new kind of honesty about our relations with people, with other people. The 8th step starts the process of forgiveness. We forgive others. Possibly we are forgiven. And finally, we forgive ourselves and learn how to live in the world. By the time we reach this step, we'll become ready to understand rather than being understood. We can live and let live easier when we know the areas in which we owe amends. And I think forgiveness is a main ingredient of amends. So I just want to take a couple moments to tell you why the 8th step is a necessary step, right? I didn't think that I was a guy who did a lot of harm. But I remember that at some point my actions and my morals started going in the opposite directions. I would say something and do the opposite, right? I didn't know that the disease began to work on me internally, and when I saw the external, it was too late. It had moved on to another principle. So I lost my ability to be honest. Right? You know, I'm going to stop after this one. I ain't using no more. I swear for God I ain't using no more after this one. But just give me the $20 and I swear for God, man, that happened for 10 years. Right? But I remember when I was broke, man, I didn't have any money and nobody to beg, and I looked across the street, a guy who's 80 years old. And I went to talk to him. I say, Mr. Strong, I say, the wife and I, we finna lose the house. And if you can let me have $500, I'll pay you back. He said, Jim, I believe in you. You was a hard-working young lad. And I couldn't pay him back. So I compromised my integrity after I lost my ability to be honest. I said my morals and my actions began to go in opposite direction, so it became easier for me to compromise my commitment. I didn't have any compassion. I love things and I use people. Right? It was destruction everywhere I went, man, because why? I was somebody for a short period of time. I see some of my homies coming in here. They remember when they used to call me Mr. Jimmy. And I used to say, Don't come out on these corners. You need to go to school. But I became the guy who's now, he's on Bagger's Lot, right across the street from the liquor store, saying, young blood, let me borrow $1. My wife used to ride the corners and look at me and just shake her head, man, because I remember the time when she rolled through, I used to duck. But now, I don't care. And I became a shell of the guy. I didn't have anything to fight this disease off, man, so I affected everybody. Dad, help me with the homework. I ain't got time for no homework. Son, can you come to Florida? I'm not feeling too good. Mama, I can't come. I ain't got time because I was afraid to go anywhere because the package I took the first time ran short. She say, well, the family reunion is tomorrow. Man, I'm out of here, Mama. I'm gone. I can't stay here. I got to go back to Jersey. So I came in here and I got a lot of guilt. But I said the 8th step is necessary because it don't want me to forget. You know, I came in the rooms July the 19th, 1990. I was broken. You don't see a 230-pound man like he is now. I was 153. Talking about I'm dragging 7 felonies, man, from 1961, from Florida, man, North Carolina, Rikers Island, the Tombs, Yardville, Leesburg, man. I ain't talking, God, you talking about jail. I was doing time in 61. Talking about shame and guilt over my family, man. My mother was looking at me. I'm doing all I can to raise 4 kids. I'm a single parent, Jimmy. And I'm like, so what? That's your responsibility. So I drag suffering, man. If you stayed with me too long, you had a problem. But I was the guy who said, okay, Jimmy, you bag it up. You split it. I said, okay, I'll split it. And I'll split it, and I'm like, no, that's too much. I got to do this again. I'm talking about a guy who always wanted it. We're talking about self-centeredness, man. So I came to the rules of Narcotics Anonymous, and I got a 3-year sentence on my head, but God don't want me to forget. So if I don't learn how to understand, instead of being understood, I'll forget who was with me when nobody else was there. I'm talking about when the money was gone, the friends was gone, man, and all the dope was gone, and I wanted to kill myself. And my higher power was right there in the nick of time. But there had some people in my life that I hated, man. My world had become topsy-turvy. If you told me you couldn't give me no dope, I hated you. If you say, here, I love you, it was all confusing to me. I love you because you helping me kill myself. And I hated you because you say, don't kill yourself. So I became a guy who didn't know that the ego had to be removed. I'm talking about ego. I'm talking about living in the past and looking at the future and scared to death to live right now. Talking about what fuels this is what I used to do. The heel figures and the FUBUs and the Timberlands, all of that nonsense, man. And I'm talking about God say, I got a blessing for you, but you got to remember where you came from, man, and who helped you. So I said, you know, this step work, God have forgiven me. Because I remember all the close calls, man. I remember the time when I just wanted to die and something was always there, man. But see, I always got a blessing and couldn't wait to go back by the projects to show them my newness, my new shoes, my new car and all of that. So God said, I got to send you through a metamorphosis. Because we got to take back these principles. You can't go nowhere until you take back. You remember that you compromised with Mr. Strong, man. So you got to take back these principles in order to be anybody, man. So I'm like, okay, let me learn how to be honest about me, with me, to me. I don't want to be a phony around here. But God said, well, Jimmy, I'm not sure, so I better send you down to jail clean. You ain't never experienced jail clean. So I'm 5 months clean. I ain't never missed a meeting. December 17, 1990. I'm walking highway, picking up paper, 8 miles a day, clean. Feeling it, man. But I didn't know that the struggle is where the blessing comes. So I didn't know that if you've been hurt physically, spiritually, or mentally, wherever you was broken at, it's going to be stronger at the broken places. Or going to be in a relationship, and if you can stand and do what is right, you will be stronger on the other end of it. And I played by the rules, man. And I came out of that 6 months later, and I was looking at the movie last night, and my wife said, that thing around that ankle look real familiar. I said, I wore it for 6 months. She hated it. When they called, she said, boy, and I used to go to the phone and plug it in. 6 months. But it was getting me ready for a blessing, man. And I don't want to really concentrate on the fact that just for identification, most of y'all know my story. I got out, and December they called me, and I started going to college at 47 years old in 1992, 30 years after high school. Got an associate's degree, went and got a bachelor's degree in 96, and I got a master's degree in 97. Got 7 felonies, 17 or 18 arrests. This month, the 27th, I'll be working for the federal government for 8 years as a supervisor, making almost $80,000 a year. And I look at the people who helped me, they ain't standing up now. I forget. See, the 8 step keep me from forgetting who was there for me when nobody else was there. So I want to change friends. I want to change addresses. So I gotta say, God, help me to be righteous, but not self-righteous. See, because I become the answer. God, help me to have compassion and not be critical. And let me tell you where compassion will take you. To love people where you're at, not where you want them to be. I'm talking about when people talk about you, can you still say, I love you? When God forgave me, can I forgive you? I'm not talking about doing things when I want. I'm talking about not being selfish, being selfless. Right? Man, let me just say something. My brothers give me stuff all the time. They send me stuff, man. Tickets. They just treat me real nice. And I used to give away stuff, man. Sneakers and stuff. But I always gave away the ones that I didn't like. Right? And I used to go share, man. Oh, yeah, I gave away them Jordans. I didn't like them. I gave away this. I gave away that. Sounding good, man. And one day, and I'm not sure my sponsor, he might have told me, when you give away something you like, you really like, that's the process. Right? I just sent my brother last Friday a brand new pair of Iversons, right? I never wore them. Those the latest ones, and I sent them to my brother. Breaking through the process of doing what I want to do, right? And then I give away all the change back when the people give me change. I didn't tell you all the times when I didn't give it back. I mean, I want to sound good. Okay? But I'm talking about it's dangerous for me, man, because why? I still got self-hatred in here. I'm still a guy who didn't like how he looked. I didn't like my situation, so I come in the rooms and I act like I accept the unacceptable about me. Jimmy, don't cheat. Y'all need to stop cheating on your wives and husbands. Monaziz say, that's real good, Jimmy. You might can find somebody to hold a secret. I forgot, man. And when I went to Atlanta, I celebrated 14 years at 19. And I was in the Atlanta airport, and I lost my mind. I could not stop the music. Y'all know the music? Let me tell y'all the music. Frankie Beverly. Southern Girl. Southern Girl. And I couldn't turn it loose, man. And on my perspective, the second step say the insanity, if repeating the same mistake, looking for different results, just scratches the surface. It's your perspective and your proportion of what you see. Everybody in Georgia walking through the airport look like, I'm talking about look like queens, man. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, everybody in Atlanta looks good. And I got a hotel room by myself, and my wife ain't with me, and y'all ain't with me. I can back y'all up because, see, I got 16 years abstinent. I haven't went outside of my relationship since I've been in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. But I'm not well. And I cannot get into a position to criticize anybody else. I told you about compassion. But I got a little bit too big. And God say, you done forgot. Let's let you do this. Man, I almost forgot my name out there. I'm talking about, I went in the meeting, man, and I was looking at legs and stuff, and I ran and raised my hand, because I remember. And I say, I'm an addict called Jimmy. I say, today is my 14th year anniversary. I'm up here from New Jersey, and I want to use. See, I learned to stop talking about what I want to use, because, see, I vacuum my rugs, and that void in that vacuum cleaner don't just pick up dirt. It has tacks and everything in it. So I learned to stop acting like I got power over the disease of addiction. You know, I got 14 years, so I don't want to use the dope, but I want to use a woman. Man, that ain't my experience. When I start using, I use. And I shared about it, man, but it saved my life. I'm going to tell you how it saved my life. I shared it, and they came and they hugged me, man. And I went to the hotel, and I gave a seminar. Got my suit on, got my briefcase, PhDs and master's degrees in there, and I'm giving this seminar, and the moderator came and said, Mr. Gordon, the wine and cheese will be served in about 5 minutes. I'm looking at these doctors, man. I done flew all the way. The federal government got me doing a seminar. Maybe I'm misdiagnosed. I mean, just for a short moment there, I thought I was like other people because I look like other people. And man, I didn't wrestle 5 minutes, I didn't wrestle. But I'm in this space, you know, where I want to stay clean and I want to use, you know, the catching hell space. And I looked and I saw a brother from Atlanta and a sister from Atlanta coming through, man. I saw them. And they came through the crowd, man, and they hugged me and they said, we came to take you to a meeting. I say, how y'all know where I was at? They say, you was in Southwest Atlanta in a DoubleTree, and we went on the internet because we go and get addicts that want to use dope. If you'd have said you want to use a woman or something, we might not have came. But when you say you want to use, we know what you want to use. And they hugged me. And I said, you know what? I better stop putting labels on what I want to do around here, man. I got to get to the exact nature. So my wife called me up because I've been wanting to use again since I've been back. Oh, I want to use. And my wife has had an operation. And I tell y'all, after 35 years of marriage, it ain't about the sex. I tell y'all that. You know what I mean? Because we got something spiritually going on. You know, even if I don't have sex with my wife anymore, we are intimate. That lasts for about a week or two. When I was telling Raj, man, coming, my wife is like, she was there. When I went to jail, man, all the relationships I was dealing with, out of sight, out of mind, she was there. She went through the process with me. And she telling me right now, Jimmy, she called me on the job the other day. She said, Jimmy, thanks for being patient and tolerant with me. I said, yeah, it's coming from God. And she said, what do you want to eat? You know, I mean, how can I stand there and look at her and hold the secret? How can my grandkids come by the house and say, Papa, you're a good man. How can I live with it? I said, not today, man. I forgot, and I started counting the years that I've been abstinent. Last time I heard a person relapse with 18 years, they say they're counting the years instead of the days. Right? I started telling y'all how long I've been abstinent. I ain't cheated on my wife. Can't hear y'all saying, brother, you ain't cured, though. This is not an acute illness. This is a chronic one. So I forgive myself every day, man, when I say no, when I want to say yes. See, I was always locked in the short-term pleasure in spite of the long-term consequences. Make me feel good now, and I don't care about the consequences. But today, I'm a man. I have judges, man, and lawyers and senators call my office and say, Mr. Gordon, could you tell us something about this veteran? And I say, don't send him to jail, Your Honor. The same guy who today is up for a government pardon on merit. Because God came to me in meditation and say, you're going to get a pardon. But see, my job is I talk a lot. See, prayer is not communication with God. It's a monologue. God wants us to be in communication, a dialogue. You know, God wants me to listen intuitively for his answers. I mean, this thing gets bigger, and sometimes it gets scary. The information God gives us. So I stand before you tonight and tell you that I'm growing into a man. I'm talking about the things that used to look attractive to me is not attractive. I need to talk about it. And when I'm getting self-righteous, it's something that I want to do and is afraid to do it. So feel good about yourself. You're the most precious, most beautiful people in the world. Don't let nobody tell you you ain't nothing today. I say you are special people. Because you have been forgiven, but you got to get in a process of stop taking guilt around with you and shame, man, and degradation. Feel good about yourself and say, I'm not that guy that I used to be. But I'm not a finished product, but sometime I want to share with y'all like I got this thing. I'm there. I done arrived. No, I'm in the process. And just for today, I love life. I love life, and I want for you what I want for myself. That is a big change for me. I want you to be successful. When you get a new car, new home, new husband, new wife, I say, you deserve it. That's compassion, man. You know, so I'm just so glad to be in your presence. I'm still in the process of forgiveness. I'm still in the step work. I got a couple assignments that I need to cash in with my sponsor, and I want to do it, man, because I want to continue to get better. I love you all so much.
We want to thank Jimmy for sharing. Our next guest speaker is Hanson.
I'm a blessed recovering addict named Hanson. I need to give me just a second so that I can ask the God that I serve to decrease me and increase him so that I can give you a Narcotics Anonymous message and not a Hanson message. Thank you. Again, I'm a blessed recovered addict named Hanson. You know, like Jimmy set the stage, like the 8th step starts the process for you to learn how to forgive. And like I had to be one of the people that was on my 8th step list. And it was funny, the sponsor had to remind me that I needed to put me on the list. Like I was putting everybody else on the list and forgetting about me, as I always did. But like today, it's funny, when I got the call to do this, I was going through something in the process of forgiveness. So like when I hung up the phone, I said, God, you really got jokes. You know, like I've been dealing with forgiveness process all my life. And you know, and I really didn't even know it. And when I got the call, I was going through something that with somebody that I thought cared about me. You know, I thought that they had my best interests at heart. Like they did something for me, you know, they said out of the kindness of their heart. But come to find out that it wasn't that way. You know, so like I'm trying to allow this person to be where they are. I know what I have done. I know what I have not done. God knows what I've done and what I have not done. And what I've also learned in this process is that when people run around judging people, you know, I used to say I didn't care what nobody said about me, but I learned in the process that's a lie. It hurts. I just don't let it affect what I do today. You know, because see, I forgave me. I don't care whether you haven't forgiven me. I've forgiven me. The God that I serve has forgiven me. And I need to say, like, I'm going to talk about God a lot, and I'm going to say it just like it is, God. And I'm hoping that that's not going to bother anybody, because like our literature says, it just is a God-given program, that it will bring you back to God. And just for today, just for me, that's what it has done for me. You know, like I'm on, the longer you stay here, the higher levels of journeys you start to go on. And then I'm on a journey now that I like accepted that like, actually I was supposed to have been on a journey a long time ago, but I was fighting the journey. You know, like I surrendered. Like this process taught me about surrendering. But like I'm going to talk about how you can forgive when it's somebody that's real, real close to you. Like, last year I got some information that devastated my life, but also it answers some questions, you know, like y'all told me, be careful what you pray for, because you just might get it. You know, like I always wanted to know why my mother didn't like me. You know, and it's hard when the person that gave you life treats you like garbage. But I know that I got to show up for her, do the right things for the right reason, regardless of how she treats me. On any given day, my mother can make me feel like garbage under the bottom of her shoes. But I still show up. Like I was living in another area, and when my sister passed, I promised my sister that I would take care of my parents. God taught me about commitment, you know, and like I owed that to my sister, because I need to tell y'all, my sister was the only one that was there for me all my life, through the using, through the getting clean. You know, she taught me how to be a friend. She taught me what it was like to stick with somebody through thick and thin. You know, so that's why when, like, I made this commitment to her, I said that I'm going to show up, I'm going to do what I had to, although I fought it for a year, and I watched my whole life start crumbling around me. So I said, all right, I got to do what I said I was going to do. But all my life, I always felt like the black sheep of the family. Like my mother never treated me like she treated the rest of her kids. Like my mother started out with 5 kids, and I need to tell y'all she only got 2 now. It's myself and my younger brother. And my younger brother does nothing for my parents. Nothing. He built a house from the ground up and didn't think about where my parents were going to live. You know, so like I left where I was living. I went back home. I now have them in a senior citizen complex. I take care of them. Oh, thank you. I take care of them financially to the best of my ability. You know, but what I've learned in this process is that, like, I can only do what God requires me to do, not what you require me to do. See, some people put me someplace where I'm not. And then when I fall short, and no, check it out, I ain't no fall short because y'all put me there, not me. When I don't meet your expectations of what you think I should be, then you want to kick my back in. Then you want to talk about me. Then you want to, like, instead of, check it out, how can I help you? What is it that I can do to help you in that area of your life? You know, just because I'm on a spiritual journey, because I am on a spiritual journey, I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm studying theology. I'm studying to be closer to the God of my understanding and the God that I serve. Okay? But guess what, y'all? I'm human. Guess what? I make mistakes. Guess what? I hurt people just like they hurt me. But you know what? I have forgiven the people that hurt me. But it's not my journey to worry about when they forgive me. But you know what? I just rely on the people that God has placed in my life. I rely on the God that I serve because I know he will get me through. Because check it out, he talked about keeping your memory green. I remember how I got here. I didn't come here with no God. God brought me here. I remember 10 years ago, 10 years, 6 months, and 3 days. Being in a crack house, which was my house, on my hands and knees hugging a toilet bowl with dope in one hand, crack in the other, and saying, take me away or show me a better way. I kicked everybody out of my house that day. I went to a rehab, my mother's house, and had her detox me the next day. And then I went to a rehab, so I am not mistaken on how I got here. I am not mistaken that God carried me when I was using for 20 some odd years. I am not mistaken that, like, he saved me for a reason. You know, so now it's time for me to step up to the plate and do what's required of me. And if it's required to let you people kick my back in, I'm going to kick it in because I'm not going nowhere. You know, but I need to just say, like, it hurts. You know, and I also know that, like, if there's some people that's in this room and in the area that I live in, I'm going to ask you not to go back and share some of the things that I'm getting ready to share about what's going on and why my mother, because you know what? You're not just hurting me, you're hurting somebody else. Like, we need to realize, like, if you want to hurt somebody, like, that's not what we're here for. We're here to change. We're here to grow. We're here to help one another. It's each one teach one. Because I know that I'm not the only one that got issues with not liking your mother. I know I'm not, because I heard it Friday night. The opening speaker talked about it. And I talk to that with my sponsor all the time. I said, every time God asks me to share something, I always hear. I always get the confirmation that it's okay to share. Because you know what? I hold on to things because people take my stuff and try to hurt me with it. But check it out. Y'all can't hurt me no more than I can hurt myself because I'm harder on myself than any of y'all can be. You know, but it does hurt when people kick my back in. When you laugh in my face when I know you're talking about me behind your back. Behind my back. When I've heard you say things because you didn't know that I was in the area. You know what? But God has taught me that I'm to love you anyway. I don't have to like you to love you. I'm required to love you, not to like you. You know, but even if I don't like you, if you needed something, trust me, I'll give it to you. I'd give you the shirt off my back. You know, I've done things that I'm not so proud of, even in recovery. We all have. But most of the time, people want to focus on what others has done instead of how they living. Instead of the issues that they need to work on. But see, while you talking about me, I'm steady getting busy. I'm steady getting busy. You know, like I'm doing what God requires me to do. There's some amends process that I need to make. I'm just not in the position to make them right now. But see, it's not when you say I should make these amends. It's when the God of my understanding tells me it's now time for you to make the amends. Because see, sometimes we do things and it's going to harm us further along down the line. Well, what happened? Like a year ago, y'all, I found out that I am the product of rape. And that's why my mother hated me all my life. I was a reminder of what she had to go through. You know, but a lot of days, I want to say to this woman, you ain't have to have me. I ain't asked to be here. But you know what? God has me here for a reason. You know, and each day, I start to learn more and more about the reason that He has me here. But it ain't easy. It's not easy to walk around every day and your heart is torn apart because your mother don't really like you. Your mother is just, I'm a reminder that she was raped. And I remember when I did my first 4th step, y'all, and a year ago I got in touch with what I didn't even know what I was saying. I used to run around saying, my issues have issues. I didn't know what I was talking about. But that was a revelation that was given to me when I was writing on my 4th step. So I just kept saying it. So God said, now I'm going to show you why you were saying it. You know, like, my mother never dealt with this issue. And I remember, like, we talked about going to a movie. Well, I took my mother to a movie, and I didn't even know what the movie was about. Woman, Thou Art Loose. All right, and I didn't know that the movie was about rape. You know, and like she got a little emotional and she got a little upset, and then, you know, what I was able to do is like I was able to give my mother what you guys gave me. Like I could take her home and say, Mom, like, look, if you need to talk, let's talk. You know, like if you want to get some help, I can help you get some help. No, I don't want to deal with that. You know, my mother was also my sister, who was my best friend, and I'm still in a grieving process. I'm just in a different stage now. I'm not stuck in the denial no more. I was in depression for 6 months because I was stuck in denial. You know, my mother's still there. You know, I want to try to get her the help that she needs, but with all of this being in the grieving process, like I said, she lost 3 kids. She ain't never grieved not one of them. And the last one that she lost was her baby. That was my baby sister. And you know, she was 35 years old when she left here. She was blind. She couldn't walk. And you know, that girl only held on here for me and my mother. And I'm going to tell you how good God is. He gave me so much in this process that He allowed me to no longer be selfish and have my sister hold on because I didn't want her to go. He allowed me to be able to go to the hospital and tell her, like, you can lay it down if you need to, because I'm going to be all right. And I could remember the relief on my sister's face when I said that. She said, now make my mother say it. So when my mother did, she made a decision. She said she was going to take dialysis the next day, but she didn't. She said, I can't do this no more. She says, I hurt too much. See, and I can kind of like understand what she's talking about because I hurt every day too. So it really gets bad when other people kicking my back in. You know, like, you got to live with your own mother kicking it in, and then everybody else around you, like, want to kick it in. You know, like, a lot of people don't seem to, like, want to really get to really know who Hanson is. They want to run on somebody else's stuff. But see, a lot of times people only going to tell you what they want to tell you. They're not going to tell you the whole part. They're not going to tell you their part of what really is going on. They're only going to want to tell you what they think you want to hear so you can co-sign their madness. You know, but it's okay to a certain extent. You know, because like I know that if you stay in this process, and if you're really doing the work that is required in this process, you will get better eventually, you know, one day at a time. But you know, like I also found out that clean time, a lot of people get upset about this, but I'm going to still say it because it's a true statement. Clean time does not equal recovery. It does not equal recovery. You know, and my clean time and my recovery time don't match. It's because I ran it down to the day. Recovery don't match. I was running around clean and crazy for a long time. A long time. They say when the pain gets great enough, you're going to do something about that. You know, I didn't even like me. So I can imagine why nobody else liked me, because I didn't like me. You know, but today, I need to tell y'all, I'm more than like me. I love me. I have truly done a lot of work on me. You know, but I'm not going to say that like people, when people talk about me, and then when they're talking about old stuff. You know what Hanson's doing today? No, because you don't take the time to know what Hanson's doing today. You know, and I also have to look at the part that I play. You know, like some days, because I don't like it, I isolate myself from people. I won't even, I need to get straight up honest. I won't even go to a meeting in the area where I live. So I need to not just talk about what others do. I also need to talk about what I do. You know, so what part am I playing in getting or making the situation any better? You know, like just for today, I can say that. I can not just say, I can tell you how I feel about what's going on, and I can also talk about the part that I play. See, that's what this process taught me. It doesn't teach me to stay in the problem. It teaches me to get with the solution. Let's make this better. Let's do the right thing for the right reason. Do I always do the right thing for the right? No way. You know, I also know, because I'm not perfect. And I also know that if I think I am, there's no room for God. God cannot help me. You can't help me. Nobody can help me, because once again, I'm going to think I'm God. Because I used to think I had it going on till I got here, and y'all shattered that illusion. I was like, I don't like this place. I really didn't. First of all, when I first got here, I thought that y'all was all lying. How y'all going to be all happy? You know, with all the smiles and all the happiness. But you know what? Today, I can be happy on most given days. And it's all because of the peace and the joy that I found in this process through working the steps. To get into allowing some people to come into my life. You know, I don't allow too many of you in, but I'm going to try. You know, so if you see me, give me a hug. Ask me how I'm doing, because I'm probably crazy. But, you know, I want to thank the capital area for coming asking me to share my experience, strength, and hope on forgiveness, because just for today, I do have some. Because I have forgiven my mother. Although it's painful, I have forgiven her. I'm trying to love her. I do love her. I'm trying to like her. Thanks for letting me share.
We want to close the meeting with a serenity prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God's will, not ours, be done.